Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Virgo, my Virgo picture up there, for the month of March 2025. That includes Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, and Virgo Rising. Before we get into all of that, I just want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for joining this wonderful community of like-minded souls. And to my tried and true who have been with me for years, you know how much I appreciate you. And for the new members of my channel, thank you for your support. More is coming for you. I'm still working out the kinks in membership, but I do, actually, by the time this comes out, you'll have a few new videos to look at, and we're going to be scheduling a personal live with me. So that should be fun. All right. So let's look at we're going to look at the astrology for Virgo. And we're going to pull some cards, but I want to talk about the month of March specifically before we get started. March is the third month of the year, and this is the card associated with the three. In the tarot, it is the Empress. The Empress is the goddess of abundance. She is actually pregnant. It's hard to tell. She's got this maternity dress on, but she is pregnant with possibilities. This path is connected to the um, to the planet Venus. And as March begins, Venus stations retrograde in Aries. Venus is going starting in the beginning of March to her through her retrograde cycle. That retrograde cycle is March, part of April, turns around, goes forward. Um, this is the start of a new Venus star point. Venus can either be a morning star or an evening star, and there's a transition point in that cycle. And this is the transition from evening to morning star. So now when you look out, or at the end of it, or in February, you look out, you see Venus in the western sky. She will conjoin the sun this month. And then eventually make it to when she conjoins the sun, then you will see her right before sunrise in the eastern horizon. Um, it is the path of creative visualization. That green path right there that you see on the tree of life, this is Hokmah. This is the Sephiroth of the divine masculine. And this is Bina, the Sephiroth of divine feminine. And she's the bridge between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. All right. So we are in a universal year 9 vibration. You will see this card every month because this is the vibration we're in. This is a card of wisdom. It is a card of shining your light, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, or seeking out wisdom and knowledge from others. This is a time of learning, it's a time of forgiveness, and it's a time of healing. That is what this year is about, in part. This is a Virgo card. So for those of you who were born with Pluto and Virgo, say 1950, end of 56, some people in 57, some people in 58, most some people in 59. It was going back and forth. But definitely if you were born in the 60s, you have Pluto in Virgo. And then when we take these two vibrations and add them together, we get the specific vibration for the month of March, which is this card. Yes, the Hanged Man, guys. We're in a Hanged Man year. This is a card associated with the planet Neptune. Neptune is also doing something big this month. It's stepping into Aries at the very end of the month, first time in about 151 years. So uh, that is a temporary visit into Aries for Neptune. He will have, or it, actually, it's kind of androgynous, but we'll say he, because Neptune is the god of the sea, right? He will uh, turn retrograde, go back into Pisces, finish up in Pisces, and then next year go into Aries for good. So that's an interesting energy as well. The axis between Pisces and Aries is the axis between pure potential and the emergence of consciousness. So we are in this sort of soup where the everything in the outer world seems to be falling down and falling apart. Um, And our best way to handle this is to focus within, to visualize the world that you want to see. Take the steps that you can to get there, and everything else you just have to let go of. Because if you don't have, um, excuse me, I just realized I have a little, I think it's blueberry. Sorry, guys. Usually I'm better than this. My husband made some cornbread with blueberries in it. It was so good. Obviously, I liked it so much I kept some of it. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into your astrology. All right. Okay, we're looking at March 2025 for the sign of Virgo. Virgo, as a review, is a mutable earth sign. Your mantra is I analyze, and your ruler, the ruler is Mercury. Mercury is going to have a retrograde period this month, but not till around the 15th, I think it goes retrograde. So um, you're not going to, you'll feel it more at the end of the month than at the beginning. We have Venus stationing retrograde at 11 degrees of Aries. Here's Venus in Aries as she starts the month, and then she goes retrograde and eventually backs back into Pisces, all while being retrograde. Mercury, the planet of the mind, starts the month in Pisces. First thing it does is make a conjunction to Neptune. Neptune is at the last degree of Pisces. Um, and then um, and then eventually on the 15th, stations retrograde and then goes back into Aries. Um, um, I'm sorry, goes back into Pisces, retrogrades into Pisces. Mercury actually conjoins Neptune at 30 degrees of Pisces at the very beginning of the month, and Neptune conjuncts Mercury at 30 degrees of Pisces at the end of the month. Neptune is pretty much just at that last degree, and it's Venus that sort of flies past flies past, of course, Mercury being your ruling planet, right? Flies past um, Neptune, conjoins, moves into Aries, turns around, comes back, and on the way back hits that Neptune again. Now, Neptune is the energy of uh, like the great cosmic sea, and Mercury is an energy of focus, but it's really hard to focus with Mercury in Pisces, and even with Mercury conjunct Neptune. The focus is a focus on opening into the vastness of consciousness. So this can be a very, for some, confusing time if you like order and all of that. But for those who are open to the more mystical side of things, this month plans to excuse me, this month is much more of sort of a mystical experience. Now, as a Virgo, you kind of like facts and figures, but there is a part of you that needs to bring that sort of mystical, magical energy into your reality. And there's a balance between what is real and what is imagined, and how do you create through that process, right? You have to dream it first, and then the Virgo comes in and says, okay, well, if this is my dream, well, you need to do this, this, and this. Let's test that out. This, and this. It's almost like Virgo is that like beta testing, alpha testing? It tests the system. It tests the dream, so to speak. So, and a lot of the energy, of course, this month for you is in your seventh house. So it's going to be important for you to listen to others, as well as interact with others, speak, talk back and forth, come to some sort of consensus. That's the kind of energy that is necessary at this time. I do want to point out that the South Node is now in your sign, Virgo. And so when the South Node is in your sign, a lot of the things that we need to let go of in the sacred cows connected to Virgo may need to be released and let go of as we imagine a bigger and broader picture. Virgo tends to be very detail oriented, very like in the weeds with that. But what we're being asked with the North Node in Pisces is to open up to the possibilities, open up to the possibilities. The sun, of course, starts the month in your opposite sign of Pisces, and then on the 20th moves into Aries. That's the equinox, right? That's the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere. And the fall equinox in the southern hemisphere. It's the time when the night and day is equal. And so here in the northern hemisphere, we're feeling the growing of the light. Things are getting lighter and lighter, um, although we're still in the dark time of the year. But we can sort of feel that. We can feel that lightness. You know, March is very much, at least here in New England, it's a time of storms generally. There's a lot of storms, but it's melting. There's a melting away, and it's been actually where I live. It's been a pretty cold winter. Not a little bit of snow, not too much so far, but very, very cold. The air has been cold and icy and dry, and the wind has been blowing. Um, it's like it's beautiful in its way, but it's also very harsh. It's very harsh. So we're going to start to see, as you know, Mars, and then as the sun moves into Aries, things start to warm up and things get muddy here in the Northeast. But beyond that, we can start to feel the thaw of spring. Let's see what else, what else, what else. Saturn remains in Pisces. It will be actually moving into Aries as well this year, but not yet. And so you're still challenged through your relationships, what works and what doesn't work, how I relate to this person or that person. Is that working? Is it not working? And if you happen to have, let's see, I think Saturn is in the last decade of Pisces now. And so if your um, if your Virgo is anywhere from 20 to say 30 degrees of Virgo, you're having Saturn oppose that Virgo planet. And Saturn opposition shows you where the limitations are, the limitations of whatever planet is in Virgo on the other side of that opposition. It's kind of a bit of a reality check. You know, Virgo would like to perfect everything, but at a certain point, some things just need to be let go of because they're beyond making the adjustments to make them better. And I think we're going to learn a lot about that this year, especially, and even next year, because the nodes of the moon spend about 19 months in the sign of Pisces and Virgo. So we're going to have plenty of time to see what works, what doesn't, and what we need to let go of. Uranus is moving direct again in your ninth house of truth and justice, disruption. Jupiter in your 10th house moving forward now. It's going to move out of um, Virgo. I mean, it's going to move out of Gemini, but not until July, I believe. And so you still have that Jupiter in the 10th house. And now communications will be easier. There'll be expansion, even maybe your own, how people see you, or people will see you more and more with Jupiter in that 10th house. Mars is in Cancer still. It's in Cancer all month. It is no longer retrograde, though. It is moving forward through that 11th house. So if there have been issues with friends or groups or organizations, a lot of frustration, things are going to start to move forward. Still emotional, but it's almost like we can utilize those emotions to sort of push us forward so that we can progress where we need to progress. Now, I do want to mention that March is eclipse season. We have 2 eclipses. And of course, because your sign is one of the nodal signs, those eclipses are happening in your round. Well, certainly the full moon at 24 Virgo is in that first house. There's a new moon. The full moon goes across the axis of first to 7th house. It's the axis of relating to self and others. With Venus, the sun there. Of course, the sun always opposes the moon and the full moon, and the sun will be coming off a conjunction to Saturn that happens, and then the next day we have the full moon. So there's a bit of a reality check and then an awareness around what needs to be healed in your relationship to others and in your relationship to yourself. And then we also have a new moon. That new moon solar eclipse in Aries is happening in your eighth house. Eighth house is somewhat of a hidden house, so it may not be very evident from the outside, but you will feel a new way of relating to others on an emotional level. The eighth house is a relationship house, but it's a relationship based on your feelings and your resources. And so that's always a little bit dicey. Like the idea of relationship is great. It's in your head, seventh house. When it gets into that eighth house, the rubber meets the road. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the eighth house for you this month. So a lot of it is you're going to be feeling it. And you're going to have to eventually process it. Of course you will, you'll process it, but it does take some time and may not be too evident to people, except for yourself. Chances are you know shared resources are always a stickity wicket, I think. All right, Pluto in Aquarius, there for 19 years. The only planet this year that is not changing signs is Pluto, and it is the planet of change in Aquarius, which is the sign associated with awakening. So we're awakening, guys. We're waking up. We're waking up. Let's see, what else do we have here? Sun conjuncts Venus at 3 of Aries. That's the highlight of the Venus retrograde cycle, the start of the new the new stars, Venus star point. Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde at 5 of Aries. That is the highlight of the Mercury retrograde. All the answers lie within the truth of self, 5 of Aries, perhaps. Venus, okay, re-enters Pisces. Venus conjuncts Neptune at 30 degrees of Pisces. Um, Also, this is really a very powerful conjunction of Venus and Neptune. Neptune is considered the higher octave of Venus. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. This is very powerful at the last degree of Pisces. Venus conjunct Neptune, asking us to be compassionate. Compassionate. And then, of course, Neptune ingresses into Aries, and that's really going to change a lot of things. We'll get a taste of the change. The change really won't come through until next year when Neptune conjoins Saturn at the first degree of Aries. That's happening February 2026. So not too much time before the new consciousness rises up from the great cosmic sea. All right, so that's that. Let's stop the share, and I'm going to be doing a card reading using the fountain deck. Um, and then I'm going to be doing an oracle pull with the spirit animal oracle. Okay, let me make sure I have these right. All right. All right, so let's see what's up for Virgo. Let's see what's up for Virgo. All right. We start with, ooh, the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is movement, lots of things coming at you, lots of information, um, psychic information as well. This card is associated with Mercury on the Tree of Life, and of course Mercury is your ruling planet. And so as we start the month, there can be a lot of information coming through. It could overwhelm you. We'll see if that's the challenge, but know that there's a lot of information coming in. Um, what's challenging it is it's possible that the information is from the past or it brings up some issues around your childhood, some childhood issues coming up with the information coming in. Let's see what's at the root. Um, at the root is taking an action on a a principle. This is acting on a principle, but it can be very it can be quick and not always well thought out. So um, I'm not sure if this means you want to take an action, you're in the midst of taking an action. Let's see what else comes up. We have justice in the past, so there has been some balancing of the scales for you. I don't know, maybe you had a legal matter that finally resolved itself. So it's saying that things have evened out. So something in its way, in its karmic way, has the scales of karmic justice have balanced themselves. And so now you're in this place of great forward motion, great forward motion. In the sky, we have the Queen of Wands. Now, for the Sky card can be a suggestion for you, but the Sky card can also be Spirit speaking to you. If there is a woman in spirit, a mother energy, perhaps she wants you to know that she is with you. The Queen of Wands is highly creative vibration, and reminding you not to lose your spirit, not to lose the core of what you know in your heart that sustains you. In the immediate future, oops, we have the Four of Wands. So this is a celebration. I feel like there's a lot of people coming together with you for this. Um, so it looks like um, people are going to come together. I think there's a common cause. Perhaps what this is about. Taking action on your beliefs. I feel like you're not alone in that, and that you can bring other people along with you. And I guess we could call it a party of sorts, but I think there's a purpose behind that party. Um, how it's seen from the outside, that you're seeking out relationships of people who are sort of vibrating at the same level with the same values and the same ideas as you. Now, of course, we have all that energy in the seventh house with the Pisces energy. So I think that's really it's these cards sort of reflect that. Your domestic situation, you're feeling isolated and a little bit maybe depressed, or that there's a futility here. Um, I think that will pass the more you get out there and start interacting with people who are vibrating in the same way as you are, with the same values and the same goals. Hopes and fears. This is a foundation card. It's is it foundation? Fountain. Sorry, the fountain card. This is a card only in this deck, and it's about pure potential. So you're a little concerned, but you don't really know how this is going to work out. And you kind of like to know how things are going to work out, like you like to have a plan, Virgo. Um, so that's a little scary for you. The outcome, okay, the Nine of Wands, a continuation. Um, this is a little bit more of an arduous climb, but this is really about standing your ground, standing behind your beliefs. There will be some burdens. You'll feel burdened. The Ten of Wands. You'll feel there's something coming to an end, some ideas coming to an end, and that's really the nature of the whole year. And then we have the transformation. So you will be letting go of those things. You're going to be letting go of thoughts and ideas and burdens that you no longer have to carry. And I think that comes into like bringing new people into your life. Underneath it all, we have the Lovers, which is around choice and relationship. The Nine of Pentacles, which is another one of those, a little bit of an isolating card, but this is an isolation that you're choosing, and you've built that space to sort of sit with yourself and and dream, this is a good card. It's a good card. So there's a lot of interaction, but there's also time for yourself. And then messages. You're going to be getting some messages likely from spirit. So keep your ears open for that. All right. All right. That's good, guys. It's good. It's good. So you're not alone. You're going to be opening up, I think your perspective on, and the people that you're bringing forth. Whatever you have just finished is over. You don't have to deal with that anymore. New things are coming in, and they're coming in quickly. So be open to listening and conversing with others, and I think it will be very, very helpful for you. And then lastly, we're going to pick a spirit of animals, spirit animal oracle for Virgo. Let's see what animal we get. All right. Beaver. A beaver spirit. Now, beavers are very hard workers. Lay a solid foundation. Oh, I like that. Beaver. They're so cute. I was watching a video and there was like this little baby beaver that was like lost. And then, they adopted it. You know how people do. And it was the cutest little thing. Cute little face. All right, let me read this to you. And then you will have your reading complete. Okay. Beaver Spirit is here to tell you about power living within you that is born of spirit, the source from which all life arises. This power is to establish the sacred connection with the universal consciousness so that you can deliberately co-create the world you desire. Know that it takes work, determination, and sustained effort to co-create and lay a solid foundation for your dreams. Well, isn't that what Virgo is all about anyway? Protection message. Beaver Spirit has come to warn you to check for rotten wood in the foundation of your dreams. Perhaps you've built your hopes on faulty promises or wishful thinking that something would work out just because you wanted it to. Yeah, I mean, we all have that tendency, right? But usually Virgo makes sure that they kick the tires before they take the car out on a ride. So I think you guys will be okay. But there may be some, of course, the South Node's in your sign. And so perhaps there are some things that do need to be rethought, reworked, and let go of. All right, guys, have a great month. Take care of yourself. It's crazy out there. Be extra cautious if there's such a thing for, I mean, I'm telling a Virgo to be extra cautious. And then I'm also telling you to go out and see people. So, balance that for yourself. All right, take care, everyone. I'll see you again next month. Much love. Namaste.